And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. And we want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, 80-plus show partners that we've assembled, we've vetted, we bring on the air to help you avoid commission-based advice, make you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want to give a shout-out to Brio Tuscan Grill. Our official restaurant partner is Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza on Bay Street. And at Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Mall, you will discover an Italian menu, a cozy atmosphere, signature drinks, excellent food, and a very friendly waitstaff. Reach out to Brio Tuscan Grill and check them out over there at the International Plaza, our official restaurant partner, and let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and they're going to hook you up with that free water with lemon that we always talk about here on the show, having a little fun. And Intelligent Talk Radio, we got some intelligent folks here in studio, and we're expecting a call in today. But first up, we've got Ron Fuller. He's the Director of Broker Sales for Mossy Oak Fence Company. Welcome in.
Hey, Brandon, you know I always love being here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about being treated like a client rather than a customer.
I like that. So the customer appreciation, the customer service.
Being valued.
That's right.
Being listened to, right?
Super important.
Yep.
Absolutely. Every business owner needs to understand that. And Milena Mateev in the house. She is the president of the Tampa Bay Chapter for Real Estate Staging, and she's also the owner of Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors. Welcome back.
Thank you. And I really like what he said.
Yeah.
I think that this is the difference between having a company and creating relationships or just being in business, for profit. What I would piggyback on most of the stuff that he said from my perspective, but I would also talk about the importance of why do you need a professional when you have your property on the market to tell you how to present it. So
right.
That's going to be it.
So professional staging, we talk about interior design work.
Yeah.
You even have the folks that can stay in the homes from time to time and help manage the property, like a property manager. So we're going to talk about that on the show. And we also have a phone in coming in as well. Ruth Watkins making her debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. And let's talk about a couple of hot listings here. I want to let you know about a property on the beach. We just reduced this property on Mandalay, 1024 Mandalay Avenue. And it's on Clearwater Beach, the north side of the beach, 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, over 1,800 square feet, and it's $739,000. Great buying opportunity, and you walk across the street, you have access to the beach right there. And also another beautiful property in Apollo Beach, 6508 Bimini Court, Apollo Beach, 3 bedrooms, 3-bath. This is a over 5,600 square foot home, $690,000, and it's a boater's paradise, fisherman's paradise here, with direct bay access out into the beautiful Gulf of Mexico.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, so today we want to plug our book as well, Amazon.com. Check out our book on Amazon. Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves. And as a published author, professional speaker, we'd love to talk to your group, your organization, and to help with motivation and business strategy as well. And today we want to talk about the law of correspondence in our 2-minute warning. 2-minute drill, that is, with the Peyton Manning helping us out there with the 2-minute drill. So the law of correspondence and understanding and applying the law of correspondence, most of us have heard the old adage that our outer world is nothing more than a reflection of our inner world, and how prevalent our thoughts are. Gandhi said, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. A great thought. And we've all heard this over and over. So the key is to focus and control your thoughts. Our mind is naturally going to wander. I think it has something like 170,000 thoughts, random thoughts per day that flow through our mind, and really fully utilize and focus on the power of focus. Because what we focus on expands. It's like a magnifying glass, taking the rays, the rays from the sun rather, and directing it directly onto a piece of wood. It's going to amplify, and that message is going to end up in starting fire potentially. And when you think about the law of correspondence with your thoughts, what you're thinking about on a daily basis, that story that you tell yourself over and over. So many people say, "Oh, I'm just so bad at remembering names. I can never remember names," or "I can't eat that because it goes straight to my hips." All of these things, right? Yeah, people say that, right?
Minute on the lips.
Yeah,
something on your hips.
Ears on the hips. Yeah, exactly. So we have these stories that we tell ourselves, and unfortunately, a lot of them are negative. So when you think about that, think about the thoughts, think about the power of your language and how it affects you in your life, and control what you're putting into your mind. With these days, you've got great podcasts, books, audio books that you can look at. Programming is very it's right there at your fingertips. So live with great expectation. The expectation that you have in your life is what you're going to bring and you're going to breed into your life. So there's your 2-minute drill, controlling your thoughts, the law of correspondence here from the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And we're going to go to the phones now. We got Ruth Watkins calling in, and she is a mortgage expert here in Tampa Bay, regional manager for Go GSF. Welcome in, Ruth.
Hi, thank you, Brandon. I'm so happy to be here and a part of this show that helps buyers win in any marketplace.
Yes, that is right.
I'm excited to do that. Very happy. I'm sorry that I'm sitting from my, bedroom having to do this, but recovering from the flu, here we are.
Yeah, the flu and / pneumonia, I think it was, right?
Yes, it was. I just didn't want to go there, but
yeah, feel better from us, and so we're glad you're at least calling in. So that way, so let's talk about it since it's your debut on the show, and thanks for joining the team. You've been in the industry for over 30 years, and when you think about mortgage lending, there's a lot of options out there, and certainly some that have less stress in it. So why did you choose the mortgage lending industry?
Well, initially, many years ago, but when I was in my 20s, I had a thing for figures and math, and I actually purchased my very first home when I was 24 years old, and I was completely enthralled by the process and very attracted to it. So I set my sights on, that's what I want to do. And I went in and I started, obviously, from the bottom up, which is, through answering phones, then processing, then ultimately underwriting, and then ultimately opening a processing center where I served hundreds and hundreds of loan officers, getting the deal right in front of the lender so that they looked good. And, basically it's a complex business, and so absorbing all the guidelines that you can, being able to assist a person directly with that knowledge and giving them the options that best suit them. I mean, that's what it's really all about, the passion that you can bring to somebody to uncomplicate what could be complicated and get them on the right road to what their dreams are.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that as well. A long time, my background is in real estate and mortgage. I worked on many, different sides of retail, the wholesale side. But let's look at fast forward right now. So here we are sitting in the middle of February 2018, Q1, and we got a great year ahead of us. I think there's so much optimism. You have the Trump tax plan, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. People are more optimistic than ever. So I want to get your take on the current marketplace. What do you see happening?
Well, basically, it's a given that we've had some increases in the interest rates. That's a given, but that's not necessarily a negative. I mean, from a historical standpoint, we're still at historic lows in the interest rates. But we also are back on track with a normal inflation. I mean, not inflation, appreciation is the word I meant. Appreciation in properties. So real estate isn't as risky as what we went through when we went through the crash. We're basically back on target, what should have been historically over the last 60 years. And I think real estate is a great investment for your money. Not only does it allow you not to pay someone else's mortgage, it also adds to your own personal net worth. I think with the programs that are available today, whether you have a large down payment or no down payment, the interest rates are still at a place where you can still accomplish goals. And, I think that the perfect time is right now.
Oh, absolutely. It sure is. It's a great time to be, living in the United States. And of course, I'm, biased to the best city here in the United States is Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Tri-City area that we have. And there's so many positive things happening. And when we come back from this break, I want to talk about, with your reputation of closing loans that were denied. A lot of times people go into the big banks on the corner. They're supporting those big national banks, whereas we like to support local lenders that support our local economy. So I want to ask you about your reputation of closing loans that have been denied, and also some of the programs that are available as well out there. So we're coming into our break. So can you stay with us here on the phones?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. And when we come back, more from Ron Fuller as well. He's Director of Broker Sales, Mossy Oak Fence. And we've got Milena Mateev in studio as well. She's the Tampa Bay Chapter President and for real estate staging, as well as the Gulf to Bay Premier Interior. She's the owner and president of the that group as well. So our interior design expert coming up on the show. So stay with us. Do not touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win. We have our Feel Good Story of the Week coming up as well. And we're going to be right back after a short message here from the Consumer Quarterback Show partners and some of our paying those bills, as we say. So stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent, top realtor in the area, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine multiple times, top agent magazine, Tampa Bay Business Journal. And we're helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties and by featuring them on the show and some other cool strategies that we're utilizing. And we offer a free comparable market analysis out there. If you want to find out what the value is of your property, we're going to give you a free comparable market analysis. Basically, the same information that you pay $500 for an appraisal, a full-blown appraisal, we're going to give you that data for free. Compliments of the Consumer Quarterback Show and Platinum MVP Realty, PlatinumMVPRealty.com. But all you have to do is reach out, 813-670-7372. You can give us a call at 813-670-7372. A couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. Compliments of Platinum. We've got 4408 River Close Boulevard in Valrico. This is out in the Bloomingdale area. 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, $299,000, over 3,100 square feet. And it's a fantastic pool home on a fenced corner lot. Beautiful property here. And 3610 Casablanca Avenue on St. Pete Beach. This is just north of the Don Cesar, and it's just south of Kipton's to Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. 3-bedroom, 2 and 1/2 bath. $599,000, over 1,954 square feet. It's a rare find. You got a duplex right on the beach, and you walk across the street, and you are able to put your toes into the beautiful sand beaches of South St. Petersburg Beach. And I want to give a shout out to Mary Maids. Mary Maids, let Mary Maids take care of your winter cleaning. We know clean. Leave the details to us. They're bonded and insured, customized cleaning, equipment and supplies provided. They have reliable service, screened and trained employees, additional services available. Same team cleans whenever possible, and they are the winners of the 2016 Women's Choice Award. America's most recommended cleaning services is Mary Maids. Let Mary Maids take care of your cleaning and relax. It's done. All right, back here in studio helping you win. Ron Fuller in the house. He's director of broker sales, Mossy Oak Fence. Coming up, we've got Milena Mateev as well. She is the owner of Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors. And on the phones right now, we have our mortgage expert, Ruth Watkins, regional manager for Go GSF. So, Ruth, wanted to ask you, give us a recent success story, because I think so many times people get kind of programmed into walking into their bank. They're the people that hold their savings. Maybe they have a safe deposit there, but they're not necessarily the right choice when it comes to getting a mortgage.
Yeah, that's true. And what I find that just their process alone is more of like an assembly line process. So sometimes what you're being told in the front end isn't necessarily what's going to happen by the time it gets into the underwriter. And that's, that's just the process of it. So when you're working with a mortgage professional that knows from soup to nuts what it takes to qualify, what documents you need, all the way down from a minor issue that stops you from closing to maybe a more complex issue that has to be structured properly so that the underwriter can understand it. I mean, first of all, you are putting together a package that's filled full of paper, and you have to be able to tell that story and meet all the criteria in order to get that yes is what you want.
Right.
So structure is key, and I have seen more than I can count loans that are, without question, approvable loans. It's just the road in which they went down created a problem, and then created the inability to close. So being able to take a borrower like that and turn it around quickly and not have them suffer any unintended consequence in losing the current contract they have, and to get them to closing in a quick, timely fashion, as in little as 2 weeks or what have you. I mean, that to me is one of the biggest rewards that I get out of this business, is being able to use that expertise and really turn a bad situation into a good one.
Yeah, there's so many times you see people make the mistake. They go into the bank, and first of all, from an ethical standpoint, a moral standpoint, these are the banks that took the bailout money. They went out and bought the best possible commercial real estate. They gave their CEOs the golden parachutes with millions of dollars in bonuses on their way out the door. So don't support the big banks. Support local economy. support local lenders. And if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Ruth Watkins. She's a regional manager for Go GSF, and she's a mortgage expert here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So, Ruth, what else are you seeing out there? What do you think is, some of the best loan products available right now?
Well, there's a broad spectrum of products. So basically, you've got your normal conventional 20% down, and then you've got your more middle of the road buyer that maybe is making a large rent payment and isn't able to necessarily save the cash that they need. So that in itself is a creative way to look at a borrower to how can we accomplish your goal. So if that would come in the form of some down payment assistance, or that could come in the form of, other means through gifts, or what creative ways, and in discussing that with your client, it kind of opens the box for their thinking and, which ways can we come together to make this happen for you. I mean, there are 100% finance products, obviously, such as VA and USDA, and then we have seller concessions that help get a buyer closer with paying their closing costs so that they can actually accomplish the dream. The most important thing is talking to someone that knows the ins and outs of every program so that they can give you every option at your disposal to think about what best suits you as a borrower.
Yeah, there's complexity there. There's issues that come up. Maybe the loan product might change. Now, when people call up and they shop a mortgage, this is something that happens a lot. There's much more to it than just rate.
Right. I would advise any borrower to not shop by rate alone. What is on the surface, again, it's like the, tip of the iceberg, but you know how much bigger it is underneath the water. Yep. So when you're looking at an interest rate, don't let that be your determining factor, because interest rates change daily at any given notice, number one. Number two, that advertised interest rate is taking into certain specifics and certain considerations for that specific borrower. You may not even be that borrower, because there's things that go into factoring a rate for a borrower, such as what is the loan size, how much money is being put down, what is the credit score, and all of these numerous factors. So you really need to talk to someone who can advise you on everything else, not just what am I selling for a rate, because at the end of the day, you're looking to qualify for a mortgage and not begin a process that might end up with a bad outcome just by going on that simple information.
Yeah, because when you look at the loan products in the different scenarios, a lot of times people will, maybe they'll start online, they'll look online, and they'll deal with one of these national lenders online, and at that point, you're dealing with someone behind a keyboard who knows where they're at. Maybe they're out of their home office or garage, working at home. And a lot of times in the mortgage industry, there's that bait and switch tactic that happens when you get close to the closing table, and you're locked into that loan, so to speak. Now the real rate changes, and you get stuck, and you're in a position where you're going to lose your deposit if you do try to change a lender. So it comes into kind of sometimes who can outlie the other is what I've seen in the past.
Right, and all of a sudden, you get a change of circumstance that you weren't expecting. I think the most important thing to consider as a home buyer is to make sure that the professional that you're dealing with, number one, is someone that has an outstanding reputation, that has basically what they say to you, you can take to the bank pretty much, someone that you can check out, someone that you can reasonably get a hold of and readily answer your questions, every question that you have, and provide you guidance to the right program. With that being said, even from a rate standpoint, all of that can be explained. So just make sure that you're talking to someone that can handle any question, regardless if it has to do with rate or any aspect of the loan process.
Yeah, that's right. So Ruth Watkins, GSF Mortgage Corporation. We got about a minute left here. So parting words of wisdom or advice, final thoughts.
I would say that, again, I can't reiterate more than the time is now. So even if you were just thinking about looking into being a homeowner, it can't hurt you to have a good counsel with someone that can really tell you all your options, to tell you how close you may be, and make decisions based on information that you didn't previously have. Because obviously we all need advice when it comes to specialty things, such as, our tax returns, getting our loans done, and all kinds of other things. So if you are planning in the future at all to purchase a home, make sure you get a good consult with a mortgage professional that can do all that for you.
That's right. Yeah. And all of our contact information is available at consumerqb.com. Consumerqb.com. You'll see Ruth Watkins, her card there at our website. Also, you can reach out at 813-670-7372 if you'd like us to put you in touch with Ruth. 670-7372. You can call or text that line. Thanks, Ruth. We appreciate you calling in. Hope you feel better.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, you guys.
Absolutely. My pleasure. And stay with us here. When we come back, we have our feel-good story of the week and more from our expert contributors here in studio. We're going to talk with Ron Fuller. He's the director of broker sales for Mossy Oak Fence. And Milena Mateev. She is the owner of Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors. And we're going to have a conversation around real estate and different things happening in the marketplace. So stay with us here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. We're looking for a few select agents that might want to join our team, and especially a bilingual real estate agent. If you know of anybody out there that's a bilingual realtor, we'd love to talk to them. Got a lot of Spanish leads coming in, and it would be great to be able to have someone to speak to them in that native tongue, the native language. All right, here we are in studio. Ron Fuller's in the house. He's broker. He's the director of broker sales for Mossy Oak Fence. We also have coming up Milena Mateev. She is the owner of Gulf to Bay Premier Interior. She's the president and owner of that organization, and she's also the president of the Tampa Bay Chapter for Real Estate Staging. But first, let's start with Ron Fuller, director of broker sales, Mossy Oak Fence Company.
Yeah, Brandon, a core value of the Millers, the founders and owners of Mossy Oak, is to treat people as a valued client rather than a customer. So earlier I went to Whole Foods to get some good organic food, and I was a customer. Picked up my food, went through the cash register, paid. That's a customer. Now a client is somebody who's valued. It's somebody you speak to, you ask questions of, and you get into their life. You can help them out. With fencing, we'll often tell people what you're wanting to do. We may not have to do it this way. We could save you some money. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes we say you really should spend a little bit more money here or there to get what you want long term. But you treat people like a valued client.
Yeah, I like that. It's the philosophy. You look at the different corporate cultures that different organizations have brought about. One of my first experiences in the workforce was right out of college. I was a personal trainer and fitness manager over at the Ritz-Carlton. So their style of service is much higher. You had to go through several interview processes, but simple things like when a guest asks where the restroom is, you don't just point, oh, it's around the corner and make a right. No, you walk them to there. You say, oh, let me show you. Allow me to escort you, and then you're building up that reputation, or that reputation with the client, and your rapport is being built. So the different strategy of the corporate, so the Millers have a very good, strong value when it comes to their customer base.
Yeah, we're a values company. We have strong core values: our belief in God and family, patriotism with our country, but treating people right. And Brandon, you and I have known each other for many years, and you really did carry that through. The way that you speak, it's a process. You can tell the difference. And actually, your analogy is very good. Rather than pointing to the restroom, you walk them to them. You get to know people that way. And what's interesting, to tee up what you spoke about earlier, I wrote down the statistics. With Focus, we have, did you say 170,000 thoughts per day? Yeah. Per day.
Yep.
So, yeah, when I'm sitting in front of somebody, whether it's a fence or whatever it might be, you got to take your world out of it. These thoughts need to, take a back seat. I need to speak to you.
Right.
And, your show earlier, I've got here early and I heard your taping of the last show, and they're talking about scams and roofing contractors who aren't properly licensed, who aren't possibly insured. They do poor work. We're here to help people.
Yep.
And I'm a true believer of when you help people and you care about people, the money's going to follow, the success is going to follow. You're going to grow your business, but you got to care about people. And that's a client versus a customer.
Yeah.
And I know with your success in real estate, you take those kind of values. I know you carry that with you. Ruth, I wish she was still on the phone. Hopefully she'll listen to this after her segment's over, but that's what she would do. You talk about a bank. When you go into a bank to get a home loan, you're a customer. Oh, sit down. Here's a lollipop. Next. Okay, here's the application. You're going to sit down with Ruth, and she's going to treat you like a valued client, and she's going to help you get that loan approved.
Yeah, you look at the different cultures that each company has, and more, there's more transparency that you're finding. The customers with the advent of the internet and a lot of the different forums now, the feedback, and especially even in the restaurant industry, I've talked with different people that, with the Yelps of the world and those different sites where you can leave an instant review, a Google review. So it's more and more important than ever.
Yeah. We sell a lot of fences. It's amazing. I mean, our product, our quality really is better. We have an amazing product as a company, but people can tell we care. If I go on a fence call, because I've actually been doing some sales calls because we're so busy, particularly after the hurricane, it's sitting down and caring about somebody, not taking advantage of them and helping them. It's an easy thing to do, but it seems like people aren't doing that these days.
So Mossy Oak Fence, you're going to be able to add value to your home. You're going to be able to protect your assets with the security features, the protection side, keeping not only intruders out, but your loved ones in, your pets in. A lot of advantages when it looks to adding a beautiful fence from Mossy Oak Fence Company.
Oh, sure, and water features a really big thing, Brandon. We're keeping people in a situation where maybe there's a lake behind them.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Maybe they have an open pool. An open pool is what we call anything that doesn't have a screen enclosure. So we're keeping children safe. A fence does a lot of things for people. And really it does increase the value. There's some things you might do to your home that someone may or may not like, but everybody likes to have a fence. And so it's one of those improvements that you can do to your home that everybody's going to like, regardless of their age, regardless of what they might consider, a gorgeous kitchen or amazing flooring. That's an opinion, but people always like a fence. It's pretty universal.
Are you seeing a challenge still? I know a lot of our other contractors are talking about challenges in the labor force. Are you guys experiencing anything along those lines?
Well, we're really busy as a company. We were busy before the hurricane. The hurricane is certainly backing us up, but we're making progress. I'm starting to see installs going a little quicker, but like anybody else, we're about 5 weeks out for an install. And also, we do all the right paperwork. We do the permit process right. We get the homeowners association approvals correct. We get this paperwork in correctly. We dot our I's and cross our T's before we'll do an install. So long term, you're better off. Even if we're going to take a week or two longer, we're going to do the job right.
Yeah. That's Ron Fuller, Director of Broker Sales, Mossy Oak Fence. I want to go ahead and bring Milena Mateev into the conversation. She is the president and owner of Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors. So on the outside of the home, of course, we're going to get to the inside of the home, but kind of playing off of what Ron's talking about, let's kind of explore that.
So I just wanted to piggyback on what he said. I really like that. It's an opinion whether it's a gorgeous kitchen or an amazing floor. However, you need to have a fence. And even working on investment properties, been working a lot. A big chunk of what we do also, because we're a full-size design studio resource and a real estate staging company. So a lot of the investment properties we work in, one of the first things I do is put a fence. Guess why?
Yeah.
Right? So the only difference is when we're putting a fence on an investment property, it may not be what the owner is going to choose. But in many cases, we actually can talk to the neighbor next door and if they have a white vinyl fence, like, all right. And he's like, dude, I'm going to pay for this part of the lot. I'm like, oh, power to you. To me, it's the same money that I'm going to spend the budget-wise, if I only need to put one long side, of the run, and they're willing to work with you. But it really is important. And homeowners-wise, you need to realize that how you stretch your dollar.
Right.
In other words, if you put a wood fence, not that I'm promoting your product, but from a consumer's perspective, are you going to put, your board-on-board wood fence? Are you going to put a white vinyl fence? Are you going to put higher rate fencing, right? So whenever, from a perspective of a homeowner who is thinking of selling the property, knowing when they purchase the property, knowing that they will sell this property later down the road, let's say they plan on being on the property 5 to 7 years, it makes more sense to spend the money up front on a longer looking well fence versus a Band-Aid at the moment just to fit the budget, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes we'll dress up the front of the home with what we call our board-on-board cap, the dado post, gorgeous $1 million looking fence. We can do 12 or 15 feet of the front. So when you pull into the driveway, that's the impression. But Milena, I'll tell you, I'll give you a plug. The best money somebody can spend is properly displaying their home, what we call staging.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. You spend the money to stage your home properly. You're going to sell it quicker. You're going to sell it for more money. It's the best money spent. These things I see.
Yeah. I met him first time right now. I'm going to refer everybody to him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's true. We talked off air about it. I mean, oh my goodness. I see shampoo bottles and dog bowls and the cat litter box. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? And the way people decorate, hire a professional, please.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you. And there's nothing wrong. So let me put this straight. There's nothing wrong with shampoo bottles, overloaded counters with stuff. laundry on the floor. There is nothing wrong with it if this is your home and if it's for your consumption only.
Right.
If you're trying to sell a property and want to make someone else fall in love with it, why do you think they would like to see your stuff?
Right.
No, but really, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And why would you, when you sell your car, you shampoo the carpet, you buff it up, people should think in terms of your home is your biggest investment most of the time for most people. How would you protect it, as you own it, and how would you present it to sell it?
Absolutely. We're going to dive deeper in that. Hold that thought, Milena. We're going to talk more about that when we come back with Milena Mateev, Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors, and also more from our expert contributor, Ron Fuller, in the house as well. So stay with us here. Don't touch that dial. We have our feel-good story of the week. When we come back, coming up, we have exciting story here. Teacher almost quit because of an unruly student, but then she adopted him. So find out more about that when we come back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. Former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at USF for the Bulls, and a longtime quarterback on our sports teams. We were quarterback to state championship games and national championship game appearances. Now we're quarterbacking a different game. We're quarterbacking your transactions in real estate, buyers, sellers, investors. We're quarterbacking introductions to our 80-plus show partners now on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your medical, your marketing wheel. Each spoke extending out, representing another one of those preferred partners that we talk about. These expert contributors that we bring on the show to educate, entertain, enlighten, and engage you to help you win, help you avoid a lot of commission-based advice, help make you just a bit more street smart when it comes to your daily life. And we're back here in studio. We got Ron Fuller in the house, broker sales, Mossy Oak Fence. We got Milena Mateev. She's the president, Gulf to Bay Premier Interiors. And coming up, we have our feel-good story of the week. And find out this teacher almost quit because of an unruly student. But find out what happened next here. Interesting story coming up as well. But I want to go back to Milena. We were talking about, some of the facts, some of the studies, some of the statistics show that staging a home and also as an interior designer, you come in and you can really create a permanent effect. But a home staging is going to help reduce the days on the market, help it sell faster.
Statistically, as far as the National Association of Realtors survey is concerned, and this is right before the national conference that you guys have in August, staged homes And stage homes doesn't really apply to whether they're vacant homes or owner-occupied homes, which are two different categories as per what we do. They spend 75% less time on the market than homes which were not staged.
Right.
So this may sound not like a lot when you're in a lower price range home. So let's say, $150,000 to $100,000 home, right? Because you don't have that much to carry on. But if you think about the higher price homes,
right?
You have properties, what we call high-end and luxury properties, which typically spend more time on the market regardless.
Right.
But then the 75% less time makes a huge difference. We staged the property. We had a property in Longboat Key last year, which was on the market for 536 or 38 days. So this is almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, close to 2 years.
Close to 2 years. We looked at the property the first week of December. We staged it December 15th. And you as a real estate agent know that December is really not a great month to, people celebrate. They don't really buy properties.
Right.
We staged it on December 15th. They had an offer. It was right after Christmas, 27 or 28. They closed the end of January. This was the difference between property that was vacant, the way it turned around, and that was, Longboat Key, that was a high-end market.
That's awesome.
It does what they say, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
So you actually need to do it. And we were talking with Ron, basically, when in that little break, we were talking about how, as a homeowner, you want to make the most out of your investment, right? And the fact that not unlike 20, 30 years ago, when you have the ad in the paper and you drive around the street and you see a sign for sale property and you make an appointment, yada, yada, yada. Today, what you do is you go online.
Right.
And there is enough websites out there which you don't even need to go to realtor.com. You don't need to have an MLS number. You can go to Zillow. You can go to Trulia. You can look at properties, right? Because they're marketed all over the place. If a property doesn't strike you online, your brain has 13 seconds to make a decision whether it likes something or not. If you don't like a property online, you don't even go there.
Right.
Because it looks shitty.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So how much is your investment worth? A consultation at least can get you in the door.
Yep.
It's just a marginal amount of money that you pay to know what you're looking at. You have
let's
a competition.
talk about that. Let's if somebody calls up, they hit us up on the website, they say, hey, I want to find out how this consultation goes.
So
what does that feel like?
A consultation, it's up to 2 hours. It's either me or one of my lead stagers would come in. Usually after we go, and this is my own, it's a company thing that I have. After over $300,000, it's always me. Property price, it's always me that go on that consultation. Right. Up to 2 hours, we walk the house from the curb appeal up front to the backyard.
Yep.
Address every single piece in the property, everything from color to clutter to you name it.
Yep.
$225.
Yep.
You can take notes. We call this walk and talk.
Yep.
Do it yourself. You can do it yourself, or if you want to hire us, you can hire us. We can bring stuff to spruce up the property. I actually did this last week with a realtor that I work on St. Pete Beach. She had a stale listing. Her and I, for 45 minutes, literally didn't do anything but rearranged everything. Change position of furniture, change racks, change artwork, change lampshades. New pictures online. She has like 6 showings for this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
That's awesome.
And I didn't bring a penny worth of accessories or anything else. I just redid the whole flow.
Yeah.
Because what you do is when you live in a house or, in a property, you see it your way. I come in, I have different eyes. Yeah. And I look at it that from your buyer's perspective.
Right.
It's not about you. It's not about what I like, what you like. It's irrelevant.
Right.
We stage to your target market demographic. Is the baby boomer? Is the millennial?
Right.
What is the color? We stage on trend.
Yeah.
We don't just put stuff in.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What's some of the latest trends? What's some of the latest color schemes? What are you seeing?
Gray is here to stay for a little bit more, but it's gonna make some space for some golds from like think California in 1970s golds. I know, but you
brass
guys,
door handles are back too, right?
guys, I'm serious. That was like the last. These are the last trends. Gray is gonna stay for a while. Open concepts in common spaces. However, watch your market. It's good for millennials. It's not good for baby boomers and parents with grandparents with kids. They still want to be able to segregate differently.
Right.
If your market is millennials, the kitchen is the place where things happen. Super attention on kitchens. They like to cook.
Yep.
They like to entertain. Albeit what people think, because they're also wired into technology, they want to retrieve from technology and be home. When they close that front door, they want to be normal. They don't want, other than talking to to whoever is the home music,
Alexis
for music.
and all those.
The rest really is irrelevant. They want to be hands-on.
Yeah.
So you need to allow for that. So when you're investment property-wise, make sure that you apply those main trends to that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Milena Mateev, she's Gulf to Bay Premier Interior. She's the president and owner of that organization. Let's go ahead now. We're going to tell you something positive. Every week we want to have a positivity injection and go against the negative nonsense in the mainstream media. So we're going to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
So a teacher almost quit because of an unruly student, and then she adopted him. So a fourth grader's behavior was so bad that teacher Chelsea Haley almost gave up on teaching. So Haley did what she felt she had to do. She adopted the 12-year-old student and one of his brothers. At certain points, his behavior got so bad, Chelsea told CNN, I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't be a teacher. As her 2-year experience with Teach for America was drawing to an end, the school principal asked Haley to stick around for Jerome. She did, signing a third year as a special education teacher. Then one October night, Haley felt as though God spoke to her in a dream, telling her to become Jerome's mother. Haley says she awoke from the dream and laughed out loud, thinking the idea was preposterous, and she went back to sleep. But then the very next day, Jerome looked up while taking a test and asked Haley if he could live with her. Now Haley knew it was meant to be, so she invited Jerome's mother to dinner, and Haley explained that she was finishing her third year and explained in return to Georgia, you can go back. The boy's mother told Haley, but I want to take Jerome and Jace with you. Within months, she adopted the two boys. The family now resides in Marietta, Georgia, and is thriving more than ever. So there's our feel-good story of the week, telling you something good.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, let's do a quick lightning round here.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored.
All right, we got about a minute left, so we got to do a fast-paced, quick one here. Milena, do you want to go first? Go ahead.
Piece of advice?
Yeah, nuggets of advice, words of wisdom. Yep.
Words of wisdom. Hire a professional. I don't know how many times I say this. Hire a professional. Hire a business owner of your community because they care about you.
Yep.
If you can't do it, don't really kill yourself with it. It's worth paying money for your biggest investment. And
that's right.
Really and truly, you're helping yourself and you're helping your family. So
a lot of money on the line.
Simple.
Don't do it yourself. See a professional. Ron.
Don't be a cheapskate. Sometimes the cheapest, quote, professional can cost you the most money.
Yeah, it sure can. Absolutely. All right, I want to thank Ron Fuller and Milena Mateev, Ruth Watkins as well for calling in. She's with GSF Mortgage Corporation and the Go GSF team. And I want to thank all of our expert contributors. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up some leftover food, clothing you may have, carrying it with you to and from your commute, and handing it to that person that you see in need. And be a force for good in the community. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Brandon Rhymes 1. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.